Hello, welcome to On the Scene with Patricia McDougall and Chintana and Power Imagination. We have here today with some of amazing performance from African Women Conference Leadership 2016.
Yes.
Will you tell us about who you are and what did you do last night? What's your name?
My name is Robert Albert Akron, but my stage name is Young Bobby.
And
Call
you
me
are?
Bobby.
Young Bobby, they called you what?
You can call me Young Bobby. but-
Young Bobby.
Yeah.
Young Bobby, wow. And
And
My
you
name is
are?
Alexis Albert Akron, and they call me Lexford.
say it again. You're the what?
My name is Alexis Albert Akron, but my stage name is Lex I.
Lexa.
Wonderful.
Lex I.
How long
Yeah.
have you two been performing now?
About
It's
5 years.
Like, no, it's 5 years.
5 years. Wow.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 15.
And I'm 12.
You're 12.
5 years. So what?
Amazing! You've been performing since you were just a little girl.
Yes.
And I heard that you did a fabulous job. And we have two of your family that were at the event last night. How are you, sweetheart? Tell us your name.
I'm Amaya.
Look at the cameras.
What is it?
Amaya,
From?
Staten Island.
And you
New
are?
Rosario from Chesapeake, Virginia.
And what do you think about their performance last night?
It was amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Wow. Wow.
What did you like about it? About their performance?
How I like their dancing.
Okay.
And?
I like their singing, and I think it's very inspiring to young people.
That's fantastic.
And the word, the song, the music, the song, what was the name of it that you
Prodigy
sang?
and Miracle.
Miracle
And Prodigy.
and Prodigy. I played it up there for a little bit, so you'll be able to see it in the beginning of the show. Yeah.
You can rap like that, huh? Wow, that's impressive. I'm not gonna ask them to just do it on spot.
Can you do
it on
something?
spot?
Yeah, I can just.
Let's hear it
Yes.
then. Share with us something.
I have a question though. Does this show have a name?
Yes,
Yes,
on the
yes.
scene.
You could say Patricia McDougall on the scene, celebrity photographer. Yes.
Okay, we got Young Bobby and Lexa on the scene, pulling up raps that you won't believe because we're going to stages that you never heard before, because we're going there, because we're on tour, yeah. We're going to take the stage like it's a place, and we're going to do so much stuff we're engaging, okay?
Wow. And Alexis?
But can I sing? I can't really do freestyle, so can I do one of my songs?
Yes, yes, please.
I go by the name of Lexa. My life is sweet, and she goodbye. I've been around just a short time. Everybody that always takes flights. Oh my lord, none of people trying about me. Don't want to know about me, cause I know a lot think about me. Eh. The content I do seem like I'm daydreaming. Way back, it was just a dream. It's clear right now that I see that they know me and Young Bobby.
That is
Wonderful.
cool.
Wonderful. We got
Well, they are truly on the scene, Chintana.
amazing on the spot and just pull it off.
Wow.
Wonderful. Now, where can they find more information about you guys if they want to bring you on this show?
If they want to bring you back to you live out of where do you live? What country?
We're living in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wonderful. So you're local, so we can bring you here too, right? Are you sisters, brothers and sisters?
Wonderful.
Wow. So do you have a talent in your family, like a mom or dad that kind of got you to sing like that, or you just picked it up together and started singing?
No, we just picked it up on the way with friends and like other inspirations.
Okay.
That is so wonderful. And I love your shirts too. It's peace and all of that because we're trying to have peace and unity with the world. So thank you so much for coming out. We truly appreciate it. And
Wonderful,
you are
wonderful
Patricia
job.
McDougall on the scene, celebrity photographer Chintana, with Imagination. So thank you so much for coming on. welcome to On the Scene with Patricia McDougall, celebrity photographer, and my co-host,
Chintana with Empower Imagination. We're here today. Absolutely have to remember the 9/11.
Yes, we have to remember. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Yes, we have to remember the 9/11. Yes, and honoring them with to their hearts go out to the family that were affected by the 9/11. And we want to. I mean, I was listening to it all morning long. It was really heartbreaking. Yeah, to hear about it. I mean,
And
now hold on.
President Obama, I think he was giving the remark today as this is the 15th anniversary of the September 11 attack.
Correct.
And so
correct.
more than 3,000 people died from that,
It
and
was a lot.
6,000 people were injured for us. But what really inspiring for me to hear this morning was that he said that those people who died, they did not die just for no reason. They died to let the attack our country know that this is how we live in America. This is the freedom that we sacrifice. No matter what others try to attack us, we will stand strong and make our freedom speak louder.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And so we'll come back to the 9/11 because we actually have a guest on the line. If we're ready for them, hold on 1 second. We'll try to get them on the line.
So who do we have on the line today, Patricia?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Hey, we actually have George Darden, correct?
That's right.
Yes, yes. Okay, well. And Chintana's here with me.
Welcome to the show, George. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just pumped up, getting ready for the African American Museum to open up over at the Smithsonian. We're excited.
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes. That's going to be very exciting. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
And we're going to show some photos in regards to that shortly. But in the meantime, let me just tell you who George is. He's actually going to be the main person, I guess I'm going to call you that, from the Funkateers ball, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the promoters, yes.
Yes, he's one of the big promoters. They call him Dr. G, and he's been spinning the funk in D.C., Maryland, Virginia since 1975. Hey, George, how about that, right?
Wow,
He is the
Long
man.
time. We've been funking on up, Bob.
That's right. He also hosted the Man's Maggot Mind and WHUR FM in Washington, D.C., and he cast a DJ of HBO miniseries. I mean, you just all over the place, George. I can't even read your bio. It's too much going on with
Yeah,
that.
we've been funking for a long time.
That's impressive.
Well, we do have some pictures to show, but tell us all about your event that's coming up.
Well, as we all know, on the September 24th, President Obama is going to cut the ribbon for the new Smithsonian National African American Museum of History and Culture. That's on the 24th. One of the main props in the museum is the mothership, the P-Funk famous mothership. So on the night before, September 23rd, we're going to welcome the mothership to D.C. With an event we're calling the Funkateers Ball, and at the lavish, luxurious Martin's Crosswinds in Greenbelt, Maryland, from 8 p.m. to midnight. You have to get your tickets in advance because we are not selling tickets at the door. So you can call me at 301-908-0206 or go to funkateersball.com to get tickets. Now, Funkadelic Hall of Famer, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Michael Hampton is going to be performing, along with the Clones of Funk, yours truly, Dr. G, on the Wheels of Steel. It's going to be a huge event, September 23rd at Martin's Crosswinds. Michael Hampton, they call him Kid Funkadelic, will be performing for the first time in the D.C. area in a long time. So we want you to come on out and enjoy this funk. And, again, go to funkateersball.com to get your tickets.
Well, we're excited. Oh, yes. Well, we are really excited. As you can see, we have the flyer up right now, and it says Friday the 23rd, and it's going to be live. I mean, if that's one of the many events that the Smithsonian is actually going to be putting on, and yours is going to be one of them as well. So we're excited that you're actually participating and actually putting together something like that.
Yeah, we want you to give a funk. That's right, on September 23rd. Because we are officially a part of the Smithsonian welcoming of the mothership to the new museum on the 24th. And so it's quite official on the 23rd. Come on out to Martin's Crosswinds. Of course, you got to get your tickets in advance. Call Dr. G, 301-908-0206. And I got some tickets for you.
And they can also follow you on Facebook, too, correct?
I am on Facebook, George H. Darden II. That's right, on Facebook. And energyproductions.com is the website.
Well, we also have a short video that actually talks about your event. Hopefully, we're going to be able to play that. I took it off your website. I hope you didn't mind. It gives a little bit.
No, that's fine.
Right. So we're going to play that, and we thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And we hope that once the show is, after the show is over, you'll actually come into the studio once I show some pictures and some footage of your big events.
Oh, yes. We would love to come into the studio. As a matter of fact, of the morning of September 23rd, 10 o'clock a.m., we'll be on Channel 5 talking about the Funkateers Ball.
Well, I am
Channel 5 in D.C.
Wow, we definitely
the
scene, definitely going to be down there, George, and then we're looking forward to definitely see all and cheer with our audience, all exciting that you line up for them.
Yes, and I just want to say that because I know you can't see him, but we have a man in the house, Dr. Frank Smith. How about that? And he's with the, I guess, African Civil War Museum.
African American Civil War Museum. That's right.
So he's going to be in so many places. I don't know if we lost him. Yeah, we lost him, but that's okay. We did. Yes.
Is John Franklin on already?
No. He's coming on at 2:30, right? Okay. So he'll be calling in shortly. But in the meantime, we want to tell them a little bit about who you are. How about that? Okay. And so I know we have a lot of stuff. You've been elected terms district council, Washington D.C. I mean, you did the legwork for the American troops who served in the Civil War. I mean, it's just endless.
Well, I'm a hard worker in District of Columbia, and I got the scars to prove it.
Wow, yeah, he does it. Every time I see him, I said, you need to come into the studio and come on the show and tell us a little bit about what you're doing and there's so much going on. I mean, I can't keep up with him.
Sometimes amazing people like you do a lot of work that a lot of people that don't realize that this is you who are actually doing the work behind the scenes.
Well, that's right. I am fortunate and blessed really to be a person who's lived in Washington, D.C. now since 1968.
Wow.
And I've had a lot to do with making this town a better place as a council member for 16 years representing Ward 1. And then after that, the founding director of the African American Civil War Museum. But I'm here today to talk to you all about something special that's happening on the 24th. You heard a little introduction to it already. The nation is going to get a museum on the mall, a new African American Museum on the Mall, 450,000 square feet of exhibit space, 4 floors, a magnificent building. And people are always asking me, Frank, you run a museum that's up on U Street at the corner of Vermont Avenue. What's going to happen to your museum when this one open up?
I said that.
I said, we're going to celebrate the victory, man.
Absolutely.
We're going to all shout for joy. We're happy to have another kid on the block that can bring some more people to town, can talk about all these stories that we don't have room for in our own museum.
Right.
And we're partnering with them. So we're looking forward to it.
Because after they leave downtown, you know where they go. They're on U Street. So
That's
guess
right.
what? On U Street, Frank, as you can see the footage you have here, you can see on the screen, that was actually from his press conference. Okay. So, I mean, we had some major players in the house on that day, and we're going to have one of them call in hopefully shortly, right? And so tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing. I know you said you're going to be busing them in and bringing them down. And
now, let's start with Saturday because everybody's focused on that.
So
Saturday the 24th.
do.
The day that President Obama is going to cut the ribbon on this museum. We've had 8 outstanding years of presidency from President Obama. He's closing out his term, and this is another way to close it out. I can't think of a better way. It took 20 or 30 years to build this museum. Right. No better way for it to open up than with President Obama. Now, you all know only 500 people are going to get inside that museum to see this thing. So where the rest of us going to be? Many of us are going to be at what we call watch parties around the city, where we're going to be streaming live the ceremony that's taking place downtown on the mall. So you'll be able to watch it on a big screen at the African American Civil War Museum, or you'll be able to watch it at Shiloh Church. You'll be able to watch it at 35 or 40 other locations we have around the city. And then when that program is over at 12 noon, we're going to start a festival at the African American Civil War Memorial. We got a band coming up. We got Doc Powell and the Malcolm X dancers and drummers, and then we got a steel band from Anacostia, and we've got all kind of music, and we're gonna have some food. Now there are a lot of things that you can do on the mall, and I'm one of these guys that does everything down there. But if you want to eat something from Vann's, or if you want to go to the Florida Avenue Grill, or if you want to go to Oohs and Ahs, you got to come to U Street.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And we're going to make it easy for you to come to U Street. I'm going to run a shuttle bus, a free shuttle bus, all day long from the African American Civil War Memorial on 10th and Vermont Avenue down to the mall for this new museum. So you can come up there, spend a day with us, get something to eat, get on the bus, go down there, and stand in that long line, and have a good time. It's going to be a line.
Well, it's going to be the history on the making that
That's
day.
Right. As the Bible says, it's going to be a number that no man can number.
Right.
Because this country is hungry for this.
Right.
We've been waiting on it for a long time.
Yes.
We are blessed, those of us who live in D.C., we are blessed to be able to live here in this city at this time when this all is taking place. So let me just add one more thing for your audience, Patricia.
Yeah.
And that is this. We have a study that last fall that showed that people who go to museums, children who visit museums, do better in school and in life.
Yes.
But they do better in school. They perform better on STEM tests, math and English and other tests in school when they visit museums. Now, you hear that and you say, okay, but the study also says low-income kids are less likely to move. Some of them never visit museums.
That's right.
And these museums are all free. The African American Civil War Museum is free. This one on the mall is going to be free. So what I'm hoping we can do is fire up the people in the District of Columbia. If we got the best museums in the world in Washington, D.C., by God, we ought to have the best schools in the world.
That's correct. I completely agree with you on that.
If we got the best museums and they're all free, why don't we have the best schools? It's because our kids are not, our parents, our teachers, our churches are not taking these kids to museums. And we're going to use this weekend to get everybody all excited. And before this year is out, we're going to have every kid in D.C. go to a museum.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think that should be a campaign for this.
Well, you know.
Right? Wouldn't you agree?
That's right.
Let's just do a campaign. Let's keep promoting the unity and bringing children to attend more of the museum to gain more knowledge. And through the education, some of the information is out there already. You brought up a very excellent point, Mr. George. Mr. John.
No, this is Mr. Frank Smith.
Mr. Frank Smith.
Yeah, that's me right there.
That's Dr. Frank
That's
Smith.
Frank Smith. Pardon me. So that's fabulous.
That's
Thank
okay.
you
That's okay.
So much.
We showed some of the pictures, but I tell you, I know most of the I guess artifact, right? It's going to be downstairs. It's like I know you talked a little bit about what they're bringing in and placing there.
Well, they have a whole. They have I understand they have a bus that they brought in there for the big bus, a real bus, a real bus. They have a train that they have in there. They have the kind of things that we can't have at our museum. I only have 15,000 square feet, so I can only have. I've got about 10,000 words and maybe 300 objects. They've got probably 1 million words and I don't know how many objects. It's just so. This is so grandiose and so big, and I think, for people who live in D.C., I know a lot of things happen here. Local people don't pay any attention to it. And the further away you get from downtown, you get in the far southeast and far northeast, people don't pay any attention to it. But here's a chance for us to do something for our own people, and for our own children, and for our own communities. We're going to celebrate the opening of this. Everybody's not going to get to see this museum on the 24th, but guess what? We live here. We can go on the 25th. We can go on the 26th. We can go in October. We can go for Christmas. And so we're going to get all our kids in there.
Well, it's interesting. I have a busload coming from North Carolina. So I said to my friend who's bringing the bus here to celebrate, right? And have one coming from New York. I said, so did you get online to get some tickets? Because you have to get some tickets. She said, I got online, but I only have tickets for the kids. And I said to myself, well, that's just so nice. That's great. So the mothers can't go. That's what they said. They'll have like 2 chaperones and then bringing the kids in to the museum to experience it.
Well, they can come up to the African American Civil War Museum on U Street.
Oh, they're going to be up there.
And listen to some music and eat some Ben's chili bowl and some Oohs and Ahs and have a good time. And then we're going to shuttle them back and forth downtown for free on our free shuttle bus.
Isn't that something?
That's wonderful.
I was reading something too about them have, they had something in place where you get a discount for the food. I think it was $10. Did that ever materialize?
Well, we didn't work that out, but we're going to have a number of vendors out there from from these various restaurants, and some of them have will have
They
discount
participated
coupons
in-
of their own. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I hope they give back to the Smithsonian because that's like so key, you know,
Absolutely.
too. Because not that the museum is going to be here, but we need to keep it going. We need
Absolutely.
to keep it alive. We need to have people come into it and sponsor and send funds in and make donations to it. I know they're donating all different types of items for it. I mean, they kind of laid in and talked a little bit about it, but we need some items. Actually, we need some funds.
Right. Let me say a couple other things
Let me say that.
about the events that we're doing leading up to this. Now, on
Yes.
Sunday the 17th, not this tomorrow, not today, but the next Sunday, the 17th, we're going to have a program at Shiloh Baptist Church, the kickoff program for the DC local DC host committee. Is at Shiloh. We got a 200-person choir singing there. We've got people, drummers, and we've got stilt walkers and all kind of whole program there at Shiloh. And Shiloh holds about 1,500 people. So,
Yes.
and we've got some parking worked out over there at Shiloh. So next Sunday afternoon, after you go to church and go home and eat your chicken dinner, you can still go back out and have a good time. And there'll be somebody there at Shiloh from the Museum on the Mall to talk to you a little bit about what you're going to see on the mall. So that's Sunday, the 17th. And then following that week, later on that week, on Thursday the 21st, we're having a reception at the African American Civil War Museum. We're located at 1925 Vermont Avenue. Everybody knows where we are.
Everybody knows
We're
where that is,
We're
right?
right by the Masonic Temple on Vermont Avenue. Y'all know where we are.
You can't miss it, right?
That's right,
When
absolutely.
you enter, you turn off of Florida.
That's right. We got,
it's right there.
we got all the
on
soldiers up there.
left.
We got 200,000 names of all the soldiers. So you come see us.
Wow.
But we have a reception for almost every. There's 100 and some African American museums in the country. Almost all of them are coming to Washington D.C. for this grand opening, and we're holding a reception for them. This is free and open to the public from 6 to 8 on the 21st of September.
Wow.
So that's at the African American Civil War Museum, 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 p.m. And we do have a parking lot. We prefer that you take the subway so you can get there. But and for those of you who don't know this, the African American Civil War Museum is the only museum in the city that has its own subway stop named for it.
Oh,
On the Green Line.
That is so true. A lot of people don't know.
On the
about
Green
that.
Line.
I knew that.
How
I knew.
convenient
Yes.
is that?
Yeah, it's the African American Civil War
So they
Memorial.
can mix it up.
That's the Green Line stop.
Right.
That's right. That's right at U Street. That's us. And so
Wow.
you can go. You can get there on the Green Line, or if you drive, you can park in our parking lot. That we have parking in the back. And then, as I told you on Saturday, we're going to have we have the bands. I told you about that, but I didn't tell you that on the stage at the African American Civil War Museum on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. For those of you who are not standing in line downtown, you can come uptown and you can enjoy a play with us called the Battle Hymn of Freedom. This is all free on our stage because we want you to see we can do stuff uptown too, not just downtown but uptown. And so it's called a Battle Hymn of Freedom. It's a story about the Fort Pillow Massacre. And for those of you who follow the Civil War, this is a massacre where this guy named Nathan Bedford Forrest kills all these African American soldiers after they surrender, and after one of them survived, and the surviving relative wrote a story about this, and he's going to be he's in the play. One of the surviving relatives is in the play itself. So come by the museum and learn something about Black history, and then whenever you get ready to go back downtown, you jump on one of our free shuttle buses and go back down there.
Well, I think this is wonderful.
I love
My.
Thank you so much for have done such an amazing work. I mean,
Well,
you take a
thank
lot of time and sacrifice for you to been through so much. I mean, I'm not sure it's not easy.
So keep that museum going, right? Let's make donations to that
Absolutely.
museum too,
Absolutely.
because
Yes.
they have to stay open as well. And they really I mean, it's interesting. We have so many museums here, but this is the only area where you can go to a museum that's free.
Absolutely.
And that is like the best part, because everywhere you go, all
Yeah.
the African
That's
Americans, what you want to call the museums, you have to pay. Whether it's
That's right.
$5, $10, something.
Yep.
Only in the Washington D.C. area
Yeah.
where the museums are free.
And we have the best museums in the world.
And we
Thanks-
do.
Very true.
Right. And now most of them get subsidized by the federal government. We don't get subsidized by the federal government. Most of our money comes from donation and sales and things like
Oh,
that.
is that right?
But we do not charge at the door. And you'd be surprised how much money we take up. We get in collections. I just left my church.
Wow.
Our churches all run on donations.
Oh, yes.
And churches
yes.
own more property than anybody in D.C. So
Wow.
they run on donations. Donations are important. And Black people, and other well-meaning whites are
Right.
comfortable giving donations to places like us, and we're happy to have them there. But if you don't have any money, come on and have a good time with us anyway.
That's exactly right. And we can also, I know sometimes you hold events at the museum, your museum. Will they be able to, if somebody wanted to hold an event, of course related to what you're doing there, but, just in general?
Yeah,
'Cause
we
I know
do.
you have
Yeah,
a nice stage.
we do allow people to rent our facility. That's the other way we make money.
Right.
We allow people to rent our facility we have some wedding receptions there, birthday parties there. We've had people celebrate their anniversaries, and we've even had somebody celebrate a divorce one time when I guess it must have been a bad marriage, but he invited all his friends up there to have a good time. They pay us a small fee, and then they bring in all their food and stuff like that. So and it's a wonderful place to hold an event. So if you're a parent looking for a place for an anniversary, or if we've had a number of soldiers, who get promoted in the military, and they want to celebrate their promotion with their families. They hold our promotional exercises because we are an African American Civil War museum. So they want to have it in that atmosphere.
Absolutely. What an excellent way to utilize the space, and that is also part of the history.
Yeah, that's right. We're always glad to have them. Patricia keeps us in the news all the time.
Oh, yeah, well,
I have to give her a shout out because she's up there with her camera all the time, and all her photographs get into the newspaper, y'all. So
they get somewhere. I tell you, that's why I'm bringing them to Listen Vision up here. And again, it's up there in the HU area, so to make sure that we get it out there so everybody can know what we're doing in the community.
Nationally,
that's why I started this
nationally,
program.
and internationally. That's what we have heard. There's a lot of actually our audience are international that are learning and watching the situation in U.S. through some of our programs.
Yeah, as a part of this opening ceremony, by the way, the D.C. Host Committee has arranged for about a dozen events at embassies.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Around the city.
Yes.
And so a number of embassies are hosting events. These events, if those of you who are interested and want to go to them, these things are all free. You can go on our website, the African American Civil War Memorials website, which I'm going to give you right now.
That's right.
It's afroamcivilwar.org. 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 And you click on Host Committee, DC Host Committee.
I was just going to say
and
that.
it'll open up just like magic in front of you. You'll see a whole list of activities with all of the times and the dates and the addresses and the contact people that if you need to call to get any last minute details. So we've got this thing all organized thanks to one of my colleagues, Chuck Hicks, who is if there's one man in D.C. that works harder than me, it's Chuck Hicks.
That's right. Yes, it is.
And
that's right.
He's always walking slow and look like he ain't going to get there. But by the end of the day, this man has done more work than anybody I know. He makes me tired, I know that.
Oh, my
And that's not easy to do. But he's done a wonderful job on this. I want to give him a shout out. He calls himself Mr. Black History, and he's earned that title.
He sure has.
Chuck Hicks.
He sure has. So I know Karen Harris is doing some wonderful things in there also with Chuck. And they have actually have a website for the museum, and it's DC Black History, right? That's another one we can find.
Chuck
Is
Hicks'
that yours?
website.
Is
That's
that
Chuck
his?
Hicks' website.
Oh, see.
So you can get him with DC Black History. But there's one called DC Host Committee. Find that one
DC Host Committee too.
Yeah,
We have that. Yes, that's right. DC Host Committee.
There
That's
you go.
right.
That's the one.
That's the one, and so you can find everything. So the Smithsonian is letting everybody know too, right? Because we got to be represented.
Yeah,
well, right?
the Smithsonian is linked to our website. So we're linked to theirs, they're linked to ours. And we're working with the team with them on this. And we really are glad to be able to do this. Because, a number of these events come to town, and Washington, D.C. people don't get involved in it. We say that's somebody else's business. We don't care about that. It's not of interest to us. This one is of interest to us because our young people need to know this history. They need to visit this museum. And parents, even if you can't get out there, and I'm 74 years old. I'll be 70.
You look good.
On September the 17th, next weekend,
It's your
I'll be
birthday?
74 years old.
Well, how did you manage that? Right in between the CBC
that's
stuff
right,
and,
that's
the,
right.
and the history of the museum
Absolutely,
opening.
absolutely.
Now we're going to have a celebration just to have your name out there to say it's his birthday.
That's right.
What month is your birthday?
September.
September.
Next 2 weeks from now. Well, 1 week from now. Next weekend, the 17th.
Well, we need to have a party in the museum.
Yeah, let's
That's
do
right.
it.
When you come, we're going to get a
Yeah,
big
well,
cake and everything else. I'm going to make sure the host committee hears about this.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Wow.
I'll be 74 years old, and I'm very proud to be able.
Amazing.
I'm proud to be able to. Was born in Georgia. I was in the civil rights movement in Mississippi, in jail many times, and then on the city council here. I've had a great and a wonderful life. And I'm pleased that the Lord has let me live long enough to be involved with this opening of this brand new museum.
Wow.
I'm glad they didn't. I'm
amazing.
glad they didn't have to open without me. So
Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do my part to make sure that everybody gets out
he's
there
gonna
to
be
see this.
107 in there. You know, he's gonna still be talking about. I remember when we just broke ground. You're like, right? Well, we were supposed to have John Franklin come on and speak. I don't know. I wasn't able to reach him, or he didn't call in. But I did let him know he's probably stuck in transit or something. I know he is traveling, right? That's what he mentioned. But we have a video of him. I don't know if we can actually play those videos. There's 3 videos. We already have my friend Frank here, so we don't need to play that one. But we have 2 other. There's a gentleman in there, and he's under the Smithsonian. Not the Smithsonian. It would be video 1, 2, 3. Well, I think it's number 2, if I'm correct. If we could play that video, and he's just telling us and talking a little bit about some of the artifacts that's actually in the museum, so we can actually, if we can.
First bank in Richmond was built by a black woman, telling that story. We have, my grandmother was a milliner, but many African American women were milliners. They made the hats that you see more in fancy occasions and in church. But it's a business as well as aesthetic, so we're showing May Reeves' hat shop in Philadelphia, her tools. She operated the business for 70 years. She's 102 years old. So people have given the treasures from their families across the country to help us tell this complex and rich story.
Oh, so you see, that's what he said. They're giving everything they have to represent.
Right.
Well, one of the things that they have there that I know about for sure. Okay, so the African American Civil War Museum at U Street, we specialize in the Civil War. We start with slavery, with just one panel on slavery, and then we have at the tail end of it, we talk about the Civil Rights Movement. So it's called From Slavery to Freedom, Civil War to Civil Rights. So we do very little on slavery and very little on the Civil Rights Movement. Now, this museum will be able to expand that exhibit tremendously, and they are going to do something called Blacks in the Military. So they're going to cover all these wars: the Revolutionary War, World War I and II, the Civil War, and all that. So, in the Civil War section, they have a Medal of Honor that was awarded to a man named William Carney. And those of you who saw the movie called Glory, Denzel Washington played Carney in that movie.
Right.
And when Carney was awarded, it was the first black to ever be awarded a Medal of Honor. And so they have Carney's Medal of Honor, which was donated by his family.
Indeed.
You see, all these years, the country might not have valued all the contributions that black people made in the Civil War, all these contributions that you're going to see in this museum, but these family members did. And that's what John was talking about. These family members saved these treasures.
Right.
They kept them in their family treasures, and they kept them locked up somewhere in a trunk, in a suitcase.
One day. Right. Right.
And so when they found out that museum was open, these people came out with the woodworks.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so they're going to show you'll get to see William Carney's actual Medal of Honor.
Wow, that is amazing. I am so excited that you're with us today to talk a little bit about all that's going on. Yes,
Especially on today, the day of the September 11. You are here to share the history on the making and already been making for us to be here today.
Yes.
And I have to say, as an Asian American here in America, I absolutely honor, and thank you for your efforts that have been doing all amazing work to help us be able to have the freedom to speak, the freedom to vote today.
Yes.
And let me also, this is 911. I can't, everybody in America remembers where they were on 911.
Oh, I have some photos too. I want to show them.
I remember exactly that day where I was. I'm sure we all do, because that's a day that never changed my life.
Yeah, I remember I was at my office at 12th and at 8th Street North Capitol when the first plane hit.
Right.
And by the time the second one hit, they had told us, and we were by a television set. And I remember watching this second plane hit this building. It was like watching a movie. It was so, it was the most horrific thing I'd ever seen in my life. And to know that people survived that and suffering today, and the people who went in there, the first responders, the fire and police and others who went in there to save lives. They all deserve our respect. And I'm proud to say that we've lived through 8 years of President Obama's presidency, and we have not had one of those 911 attacks. I think that's a statement to his leadership in the world and to the amount of respect that people have for him, that they have not tried any dastardly act like that on the grounds of the United States, on the soil of the United States, while he was in the presidency. So I think the world ought to give him some credit for that as we pay tribute to these families, because it's the military, it's the president, it's those people who keep us safe from these dastardly acts, and we're fortunate, I think, to be able to celebrate this today with some sense of security and safety as we pay tribute to those people who gave their full measure, as President Lincoln would say, gave their lives. On that day in September.
9/11, yeah. Well, I was actually, I'm from New York, so you can see I put a few pictures there from New York, the Twin Towers, and I used to go up there when I'm gonna call my other days. When I lived over there, say my younger days, but if I sit next to him, say younger days. So they always wanted me to go up to the 40th floor. That's all I remember. I never went to the top because I don't like heights. So they would say, "Oh, just come upstairs, and we'll meet you upstairs at this restaurant." I think it was on the 40th floor or 42nd floor. I made it there one time, and I never returned. I'm always down on the lower level of the Twin Towers. So, and I have a lot of friends that were affected by it. So my heart goes out to them. I actually have a friend who has a son, and she actually was trying to get custody of him back then, and he's much older now. But it was a lot going on with that. But I was actually here on 18th and K, and every other day after it, we kept getting these threats. We had to leave the building. So it was really, it didn't stop there. It was just continuing. But now I don't feel like that's happening. But we do have a lot of stuff going on out there in the world. So we just have to be vigilant and keep prayers open to everybody, just to keep an eye watch, because you never know, right?
Yes.
But we're happy. Yes. We actually want to give a shout out to the people that are doing much better, because a lot of people have turned around, and it took them years to actually try to, to live a normal life.
That's
Right. It was a day that, more than 3,000 people died that day.
Right.
That's the act of evil.
Yeah.
That is definitely is. And to see, but more than that though, this day, as I was watching this morning also, to see a lot of other unity together. I was in New York. I was a couple months ago, and I had the opportunity to see the new building.
Oh, you did? Showed some pictures of it.
And it was amazing, beautiful, and the
design of it is very nice.
Yes, and more than 2 million people visit that location already every month.
It's similar to the one they have here at what is it? I'm trying, the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yes. The way the design is similar, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before I go, we want to move on, because I just want to show just a few pictures if we can. Can we just show the pictures of Leah? She was actually on the boat in New York, and I want to show the picture of New York because, that's what you see now.
Right.
And we want to be able to have the youth to actually go and to take a boat ride in Staten Island and to look over and to feel comfortable being on the boat when they're going to participate in, whether it's the Statue of Liberty, as you can see the skyline there, and that's how it looks now.
Yeah.
But years ago, if you remember how it was looking before, in the Brooklyn Bird, etc. So just want to say that
You have to get your shout out for New York City. He's trying to keep your credentials. So when you
I keep my credentials. Though. As you can tell, right?
You got to keep the credentials.
Well, but before we go to, I just have to show a few pictures very briefly if we have time, because I was at the Caribbean Day, the Caribbean West Indian Day Parade. Can we just show those pictures real quick? And there's one lady, she was just talking. I have to show her because she is from Staten Island. I promised her, she's a beauty queen, and she has something to say about the festival. It's one video and it's a picture. And she's actually just talking. She's a beauty queen.
At the 2016 West Indian Parade. I'm so excited to be here hailing from Staten Island, New York. It's my first time coming to the parade, taking part in it, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, met all my new friends. I love you guys.
Thank you so much. How
I had to
sweet is
show
that?
that. Yeah, I had to
How
give a
sweet
shout out
is
to her.
that?
And can we just show a few pictures real quick of the Brooklyn the West Indian Day parade very briefly?
Yeah,
if
I
we
have to
can?
ask, how was the
Yeah.
parade?
I'm
You
going
were
to show you
with
the parade.
everybody down
Yes.
in New York.
Well, you know, they were going to have a storm, but I said, you know
Uh-huh.
what? I'm going to storm it and get there, and if it doesn't storm, and if it storms, I just won't get back in time for them to go to school.
Oh, there you are. See?
Look at that.
And I was actually hanging out with all the political key figures like we have here in the D.C.
Wow,
area.
look at his eyes.
It's in his eyes. He actually matched
That's a
it
cool
up.
contact lens.
And Leah, she didn't want to walk, of course, as you can clearly see. She actually got on one of the floats
Wow.
who was celebrating the West Indian Day. It's called the West Indian Day American Parade. We had everybody there. Scott
fantastic.
Stringer, he was there. The control. So, you know, I had to have my flag. I'm from Belize.
Belize.
So I had to
Represent.
hold my flag
Yes.
to show that I was actually there. There was a lot of political figure, and my brother Jamel, he's from New York. He was all over the place, and he was just telling me who's who and what's what, and you know all the political figures, and we know who that is, right?
Of course.
Rosie. Well, I didn't need to
Yeah,
show
yeah,
that, but that's all good. That's my man right there, and of course, you know, I get my picture in with Rosie and,
Rosie.
have
and,
to.
and representing all the political key figures there. So I just want to give a shout out to all of the folks, especially all the key people. And I'm going to tell you who that lady is right there. Her name is Letitia James, and she is awesome. I mean, I followed her. Actually, she's the reason why I was able to walk in the parade, so I want to give a shout out to her. She's a public advocate and advocating for everybody. So, and also you had the mayor there. We have a lot of political stuff going on with him, so we ain't going to talk too much about him. But there was a lot of stuff going on, and so I want to give a shout out to everybody that participated. I didn't think it was well attended like it normally is. It's overcrowded, but it was perfect because the day was perfect, and everything was just nice. I know they had some issues earlier on when they had, because it's Juno, when you always have in the middle of the night, you have all the fun kids hanging out and doing crazy stuff, right? So my condolences to the people who actually had some issues with that.
Wow,
but
that's
for the most part, the
beautiful.
parade was absolutely wonderful, and I had a
Right.
wonderful time, and I want to give a shout out. And there I go with my Belize flag. I've got
All
all
right,
those folks
okay.
from Belize, and I had to represent Letitia James.
Absolutely.
She is fabulous, and so I want to give a shout out to her. And the lady right there, she actually has a clothesline, and also you can see she's representing Hillary, because you know we love Hillary, and we hope that she's feeling a little better, and we want to give a shout out to Hillary as well.
Okay.
Wow, to go back to what you said earlier about President Obama, I think I have to give a shout out to him.
Oh,
For he is the
absolutely,
first
President Obama.
sitting president that actually pay attention and give about 90 million. He pressed 90 million to help remove some of the bomb from Laos.
Oh,
you know,
yes,
Laos
yes,
is a
yes,
country
yes,
that get
yes,
bombed
yes.
the most
Yeah.
in the world.
Yes,
and I was
yes.
just, after I hear that, I was just, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad he brought attention to that because I did not know that there were that many
Oh, I
bombs
didn't even know.
anywhere in the world.
More
let
than
alone
80
that-
millions
Yeah,
bombs.
that's amazing, isn't it?
Yes,
That-
but
that's-
it's still there.
Yeah,
Yes.
So he
Some-
have done some amazing work. So we don't hear enough credit to give to him. So
Yeah. Well, he's actually. I didn't know about that, and he brought that to the attention of the world, and he put some money behind it. That's always good.
Absolutely.
So we want to thank everybody for actually coming on the show and actually calling in the show and actually participating in some of the videos that you saw earlier. And we want to give a shout out to the the exact name
The
of
African American Civil War Museum. We're at
Yes.
1925 Vermont Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C.
And the new museum.
The new museum is on the mall. It's actually at 14th and Constitution. And they're going to be the big dog when they get to town. We the big dog now, but they'll be the big dog.
You were the brother. You are the brother, not were.
I'll be
So I
the
wanna
other brother.
say-
Yeah. So make
so-
sure you watch and then follow us.
So I want to say thank you so much, Patricia McDougall, celebrity photographer in the house, on the scene always, and we welcome you to join in every single week on Sundays at 2 o'clock. And please invite your friends to tune in too. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay amazing.